good evening. Welcome to this week's Fiberific live crafted chat where we craft and chat live. Hi, how's it going? So I'm starting to feel more like my normal self, just so you're aware. You know when you clean your glasses and you're like, is that actually the best I can do? And the answer is no. So I have my tea. Thank you. Sorry, we're running just a couple of minutes late. Oh, have I dribbled that all the way down? I have. Look at that. I've got a big tea spill. Do I have a t-shirt? And the answer is no. So I was all setting everything up and then realized that the software for our overhead camera had changed and I had to reinstall it. Anyway, these are the things that if you're a professional live streamer that you should be checking well and truly before the live stream, not 10 minutes beforehand. So more for me. So hey, how you going? What are you working on? Let me know in the chat. I have got a couple of projects on the go and a couple of them my brain can't get around. I'm still, not quite 100% there yet. And a couple of them that I'm like, I really want to finish these. However, I can't get my brain around them. So, and I've got a couple of things that are just really low key and easy. Now, today I'm a bit like super hyperactive and stuff. I was doing a little bit of work this morning before the live stream. Usually I try to just come into the live stream totally chill. Not the case today. But if you follow me on any of my other socials, so over on the Fiberific Facebook page or over on Instagram, you will have seen a post that I put out yesterday. I had a bit of fun with some AI. I know not everybody's happy with AI, but I had a written post that I really was just super passionate about, and I needed an image to go with it. And so I just put my post in, and then Gemini made me this really cute image to go with it. But basically, what was grinding my gears is I was, trawling around Facebook, reading different posts and stuff. And there was a post about somebody who traveled to Europe. I don't know exactly, I can't remember exactly what country in Europe, but then they went in and they found some beautiful yarn and then was shocked to find that 100 grams of merino sock weight was, I think, like 40 euros or 35 euros or something, which comes out to be about 80 Australian dollars because our dollar is in the toilet. And they were just mortified that anyone would pay that kind of money for yarn. And basically, majority of the chat were just, the comments were along the lines, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. But you know what I thought was ridiculous? Was that people are traveling to Europe looking for merino. That's what I thought was ridiculous because merino is an Australian wool, right? Like, yes, it is in other countries as well. Spain has a fair amount. Just a few other countries, but Australia, my brain, there's a list and I can't think of all the, Spain's like fourth on the list. But South America, a couple of other countries do have merino, but Australia produces 75% of merino for the world. So why are we as Australians traveling all over the world where there's a bazillion other sheep breeds to get wool from, and yet we're looking for merino? I really, that was the concept I couldn't grasp. I understood that, yeah, it was expensive, but it's expensive for a reason. It's got to be flown from Australia to wherever it's processed, likely China, because while Australia has the most merino sheep, China actually has the most merino wool and fleece in the world, because that's where we ship it all to. We shave it off the sheep and then we ship it to China for processing. So like everywhere, like even companies in Australia that say that they're 100% Australian wool, even they are very likely to be shipping their yarn to China for processing. I know Bendigo absolutely does. Bendigo Woolen Mills, not all of Bendigo obviously, but Bendigo Woolen Mills absolutely does. And quite a few other yarn companies in Australia do ship their wool and merino to China. But yeah, it's why are we traveling around the world and then looking for the yarn that we can get at home? Like I just it baffled me. Now something that does come up a lot is, as Australians, we're very spoiled for yarn. Merino is very soft, very not scratchy, not considered a strong wool. Whereas other countries who have more heritage breeds, they tend to have stronger wool. So you think of like what you get out of Finland and Norway and Sweden and all those sort of, very cold European countries where their sheep has much stronger wool, because it needs to provide just warmth and water resistance and like all these other things that it needs to do. Yes, you need to wear a layer under it. It's probably not next to your skin soft that we're used to here in Australia. But do you know what it does do well? It wears well. It is less likely to peel. The staple lengths are longer. And it's not to say that merino is bad. I love merino and I use it all the time. But there is like literally hundreds of sheep breeds out there. Like there's entire books. Like I have a book. If I was organized, I probably would have grabbed it. It literally jumped into your head that you've got this book that actually explains the benefits of these other sheep breeds. I'll see if I can find it and add it into the comments for later. Or into the description for later, but I think it's called Fiber Source or something along those lines. I think it's got a reddish brown cover. Anyway, I'd have to go hunting through my bookshelves for it. But we've got all these other sheep breeds that do remarkably well at what they're doing, but we've got Australians who aren't just are like, oh no, that's too scratchy. Like, you've got the likes of Tina, who designs all her beautiful projects in the strong wool that she gets locally from Iceland. And everyone here is like, oh, that's too rough. I can't use that. And you're just sort of like, look, it is different, but why can't we use it? Like, why? Especially if you're traveling in like overseas, why are you not wanting to get your hands on trying some of these other fibers that we just don't get here? So anyway, that was my sort of, I had to back away from the internet yesterday because I was just getting grumpy. I was just like, yes, we have beautiful wool in Australia and we are exceptionally lucky. But if you are going overseas, why are you looking for merino? Why? It's very likely to have come from here. Very likely, 75% chance it came from Australia in the first place. Why are you looking for that when you're shopping in Europe, halfway around the world? Knitspin Girl says, I'd be looking for local dyes, local yarns that you can't get at home. Me too. Me too. Game Widow says, I love Finn sheep. It's strong and yet soft, fun to spin. Spinning merino is yuck. Yeah, it's just absolutely. Was it the Bendigo community page? I can't remember. There was a couple of different posts over the last couple of days that it just sort of, and then there was the one yesterday that just, I was like, that's it. Kelly's dropping in what she's working on here, and she started a new mosaic purse. Going to do more skulls last night. I need it as a new travel project. Nice work. Nice work. Russell said that I was once working in Puerto Rico and paid around $25 for a really neat nautical belt. Got home and noticed on the back it was made about 5 miles from my home. Oh no! Oh, that's awful. Saw it for $10 at a local store later. Oh. Well, you've got a story out of it. That's for sure. You've definitely got a story out of it, because that is the thing, right? When we don't understand where things come from, you could be buying it from somewhere super local, which is cool when you're at home. You do want to support your super local, but when you're traveling and you're kind of wanting a souvenir of the travel, oh my gosh. Knitspin Girl says, I'm not a huge fan of merino. I much prefer BFL, which is Blueface Leicester. I'd love to get my hands on some raw fluff, but we don't have any BFL sheep in Australia. No, and because we don't have the actual animals here in Australia, are you sure there's like no flocks? But anyway, because because the fleece aren't here in Australia, we cannot import raw fleece. We have to import fully cleaned and processed fiber, because of all our strict rules about, biopests and biohazards. So yeah. Leanne says there's camel and yak and possum and linen and hemp and mohair and alpaca, and the list goes on. But like that's the thing, right? There's all the other animals as well, but there's also literally hundreds of sheep's breeds that have their fibers are very different. They don't all feel like merino. Merino has been bred and bred and bred to produce this extra fine, super crimpy fiber. Because it's beautiful, right? And it's soft and it's luxurious. But if you want something that's a little stronger, that wears better, because the problem is when something's soft, it tends to rub and wear out. It does have, like, you can get some decent length staples. And the reason why you want longer staples with your fiber is when you're spinning it, depending obviously on how it's processed, but if you're spinning in a worsted process, it lines all of the fibers up, so you get a much softer and no fibers spiking out the sides, and it creates less itchy factor and it locks everything in. Now, the downside of that is it can quite often lose a little bit of the drape, a little bit of the loft and oomph. But this is where like different fiber preparations and different spinning preparations can actually change the exact same fleece from the exact same sheep. So, quite often what I see is a lot of these stronger wools are actually spun in the woolen method, which means that their fibers are not all lined up, which means there's more poking out the sides. They're a bit more grabby, so it's less likely of things like running, and they hold on to each other, perfect for things like color work. But yeah, it's definitely different reasons for using different fleeces. Now, for things like if I want a scarf or something that's next to my skin soft, I'm going to lean for merino, Polworth, or Polworth. I'm going to look into definitely Beersheba's Castledale, which is a merino blend, or it's a crossbreed. But is it a crossbreed? I think it's a crossbreed with Teesdale. I can't remember off the top of my head. But those sorts of super soft ones, but BFL as well, Blueface Leicester, is actually really lovely at least next to my skin. Everyone's different. But when it comes to layering pieces, does it matter that it's a little less squishy and a little less, slinky? If it's keeping, Rambouillet. Yes, Rambouillet is another one that I love to spin as well. Absolutely. But yeah, you've got all of these other options. But yeah, just all of these options when it comes to wool, different things for different jobs. When I was selling Gotland for a while, and I found that spinning up the Gotland was great for things like socks, because when you first put them on, they're a little not as awesome as, say, a sock blend merino nylon. But the reality was your 100% Gotland or Shropshire wool were great for socks because it was strong and it didn't wear out. You don't get the holes in your socks, so you didn't have to darn the socks up as much. So you've got different wools that suit different purposes. And so knowing this, like I would challenge everybody in the chat here who is a yarn crafter. I want to specify that. I know not everybody here is, but I want to challenge everybody who is a yarn crafter to try out a wool that is not their usual. So if you only ever use merino, try something else. Try a Rambouillet. Try a um I don't know. Just find something else and give it a try. Now, obviously, when you're buying commercial yarns, it's a lot trickier to find that that to find the actual sheep breeds. I know that it doesn't always specify. It just says wool. Um, but basically, if you're looking for something over 25 microns, you tend to be moving away from merino. Okay, so I learnt to spin on oh my gosh, my brain will not tell me what it was. It was beautiful brown fleece. It was Corriedale Cross is what it was. Corriedales are also very popular in Australia for commercial wool. So if you are used to looking for merino, try looking for something else. Seriously, like, and if you are anywhere near a spinning group, talk to someone there and see if you can buy some yarn off a hand spinner, because they tend to have more of these unusual sheep breed options. So, yeah. But I challenge all of you to try a different wool and look into it. Find the project that will suit that wool. So yeah, it's a slightly trickier thing to do, but you can absolutely do it. Knitspin Girl says, it was really interesting when I did my breed study and found a few breeds I love and quite a few I never want to work with again. And that's the thing. Like, once you've had a go, you know. I'm not the biggest fan of Teesdale. I don't do art yarns and the big long loopy the big long loopy sort of locks of fleece. Most people tend to leave them in the lock and spin them in as is. But I don't do art yarns, so I have to hand comb into a fiber, and it was too wiry for my use case purpose. So I tend to keep away from the Teesdales. Let's hear. A long-haired cat might do. She's a Persian. Look, I know plenty of people that are spinning cat hair and dog hair, like the undercoats of some of those double-coated dogs. Absolutely. What was that? Tibbles, what's wrong with you? My cat, I don't know if you could hear that. He just made the loudest sad noise. I'm just going to go and check and see if there's a problem. Where are you? Is it the back door? Um, Tibbles just worked out that his voice is acoustically benefited by the bathroom. He just walked out of the bathroom like, what? What's the problem? Nothing going on here. Nothing going on here. Um, let's have a look here. Knitspin Girl says Gotland is one I did not enjoy spinning. Look, I haven't bought Gotland from New Zealand or from Europe. I got Gotland from, I cannot think of the name of the farm, but there's a farm in Victoria and she sells different coloured Gotlands. So most people are like, Gotland has to be grey. No, they cull the other colours to get the steel grey, but you can absolutely get white and honey and black in Gotland as well. But it does tend to lean towards the grey for breeding. I didn't mind it. I liked it. I actually found the preparation from the Gotland farm to be really nice. But again, individuals, we all like different things. Knitspin Girl says, I recommend Corriedale or Romney for beginner spinners. Absolutely, me too. I'm hardcore Corriedale fan. So, but obviously you need to find a decent fleece. Not all fleeces are equal. Teeswater and Wensleydale have great drape, not the softest, but good for lace. Wensleydale's the other one that I was thinking. But yeah, Teeswater is the one that I have the most issue with. My cat does that too, yeah. My dash hand worked out if he stands right outside the toilet window and barked, she'd be louder and scare whoever was in there. Oh, oh my gosh. Oh, I could have taken the advantage of me being up and grab a cloth for my tea container, couldn't I? But I did not. Just double checking I'm not going to wear it. Because, you know, have you met me? I bet the cat thought it was next. Possibly. Louis Tibbles his hair's too short. He's a short hair cat. Well, he's a medium hair cat, I think. I don't know. Whatever it is, his hair is too short for spinning, and it's also cold here, so I would not shave him. I'm not a monster. I'm not totally a monster. Oh dear. Let me just check here. I've missed something from the mods, and I just want to double check what it is. Nope, we're good. We're good. Okay. So, craft-wise, on the plan for today is I've got a couple of things that I would like to work on, neither of which are too difficult. But one thing I do want to show you is, I don't know if I showed you. Did I show you when I was working on the Monday morning shawl and how I was so disappointed with it and grumpy and just, you know, it ticked me off, really, is what happened. So I'm just going to drop us down here to our little spot here. I'll just move my keyboard out of the way. I had my hat on earlier because it's cold. Also, my hair is just doing whatever it wants right now. It's upsetting me. So the Sunday morning shawl, even though the pattern said 693 meters of a DK weight yarn and I was getting gauge, I was well and truly not Granite Haven Farm. That is the one where I get my Gotland from. Thank you. That is it. I don't know if she's still selling. I don't know, but that's where I got my Gotland from. So that thank you for that. But basically, I got to this point and realized there's absolutely no way I'm getting to the end of this shawl. And not only was I not going to get to it, I wasn't going to get to the 2 sections of detail, and I was going to miss it. So there was at least 2 repeats of the pattern that I was going to miss, and I was getting gauge. And it ticked me off. So I frogged the entire thing. I was like most of the way through the second ball and I just went, nope. And so then I remembered that I am a Patreon member of Hunter Hammerson and I score a pile of her patterns. And this is one of her curl shawls. It obviously will need to be blocked in, but it's just a really enjoyable project. And so this is the Bendigo Whimsy, which is quite a chunky DK. 350 meters per 100 grams, I think. I think that's what I want to say, but it's quite lofty and gentle. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this, and I'm very happy with how it's looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if the colors look any different if I hold it up like this. So not really. You can't really see the purple colors coming through, but there's a bit of purple and there's some sparkle. But yeah, so it's coming along. Now, I don't think it's what I'm going to work on today because it is lace and I do have to think about it or I mess it up, which, like, let's be honest, it's, you know, it's what happens. It's what happens when you're concentrating hard. But I'm really enjoying this process. So it's supposed to sort of, like when I block it, you sort of block this edge straight and then this edge will curl around.
Where's your beanie?
And so that will be what I end up doing. And so this is a full ball that I haven't started yet. And this is what I've got left of this ball. So I think I'm going to get a decent enough sort of, yeah, there's sort of some purple through here and there's purple down here as well. So you can sort of see the purple down there a lot better. But yeah, and then it tones back in again up here. But yeah, so I'm loving it. It's a great project. It's really chill. What am I using? 5 mils or 5.5 mil needles. It's so squishy. It's just going to be just basically a going out blanket is what it's going to be. and it's just really nice to work with. It's a little fluffy, and I will say the Lurex line or the Sparkle line sometimes gets a little loose. Like you can see here, it's a little loose off the edge, and I think that's, I don't know if that's a me issue or if that's the yarn issue, but either way, it happens. But yeah, so we've got that one going, which I'm just really enjoying. It's sort of like the, I mean, I want to say mindless, but I absolutely have to have the pattern in front of me. I have not memorized the 8-row repeat. The other thing I want to do is I have a project that I'm working on for the Fibrific retreat. We've got a guest instructor and we've got a little bit of homework to do, so I can work on that, which is basically the homework for this particular thing is a big granny square. So that, I think that's going to be what we work on. One thing I did want to show you is this book. Now, I know I mentioned it a little bit last week, but what I've done this week is I do have an affiliate link in the description, and I want you to go and check it out for yourself, because if you have not braved making a project, like making a garment for yourself, this is such a good book to help you. So these patterns are all included in the book. And there's also a vest. Where's the vest? There's also a vest as well. Let me just see if I can find an image of all the patterns that's in the back here. That's the vest. So it's super chunky, which may or may not be your jam, but it's just a look at, I mean, beautiful detailing, lovely edges, like, and she goes right into adjusting for your own body. And if you know me, you know how much I appreciate when designers talk through that. They talk about how the different sections of patterns are created. And so being able to just make the adjustments that you need for your own self, because we all know we're not all cylinders. Some of us have got more at the front and more at the back. Some of us are, you know, like wider at the top or wider at the bottom. We are not perfect cylinders. So making our garments to fit a cylinder is basically a recipe for failure. So being able to have this book just showing all of those sort of bits and bobs on how to do this, I think it's one of those really good resources to have in your library. Now, I've made a few garments and I'm still glad I bought this book. You know, there's sometimes you buy a book and you're like, yeah. But what I will say is the Knititude patterns are always rock solid. Okay, so I bought a few of her patterns. The knitted track pants that we all made were a Knititude pattern. But what I will say is I'm trying to work out how many patterns there are, because if you do like her patterns, we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 patterns included in the book. Does anybody have the link open and can just tell me roughly how much the book is worth? Because I know she charges $9.50 Canadian a pattern. So if you even like a couple of these, buy the book. Seriously, just buy the book. Because it's just such good value. It's just such good value with 6 of her patterns in it. Yeah, I'm just seeing if anyone's popping in the price of the book. I can't remember how much I paid off the top of my head. Hang on, let me just click the link. So it's 44 Australian. So I don't know what that'd be, you know, where you're from if you're not in Australia. So 44 Australian. Oh, it's available on Prime today. Actually, if you ordered it today and you're in Australia and you have a Prime account, you can have it by 10 o'clock tonight, or at least I could. But so that's the cost of 4 patterns, and you get 6. And that doesn't go into account of the other 70 pages of information that you get. So definitely worth adding that in as your as one of those items in your library for resources, definitely worth having there. I think there is also, I think there is a digital version that you can get if you're a digital book person. Let me just double check here. Look, the Kindle version is still $41. So you don't really save a lot. Like quite often you save a bit if you go Kindle version versus not Kindle versions. I'm just shutting some stuff here. But this one, like the quality of the paper is good. The images are great. I just think it's definitely worth getting. I'm gonna move on from that. This is the bag of stuff. So this particular cardigan that we're making, Jenny's put a photo up on her Instagram. Let me just see if I can find that. Let's go to Instagram first. Instagram. Jenny King. Which Instagram account am I under? Switch. That's right. Let's just search for Jenny King. Jenny King Designs. Where is the photo? There it is. He's not here. All right, let me screen share. Alrighty. So this is what we're making. So I need to make the little starting square for my homework. There's more homework to happen, but that's what I'm willing to share with you online. But I really struggled with sort of what yarns I wanted to use, and it took me a little bit of, there we go. It took me a little bit of jiggery pokery to work out exactly what I wanted to do. Because like one thing, I don't want such a long garment. Like I'm not a knee-length duster gal. So, you know, I'm going to be making mine a bit shorter. So I'm going to adjust my square accordingly. But I need to start the square. That's, like, let's get it started. So I've done a sample just so that I was happy with the colors that I chose, because I was like, I wanted to use my stash is what it boiled down to. And so what I did was I did a pile of different samples, but then I decided on this one. So it is quite busy, and I wanted it to be busy. Okay. So, but what it is it's a round of Sierra Nevada. So this one here. So Inologic says knee-length duster gals band name, calling dibs. So this is the Sierra Nevada. And so this is this around here. But then I also have some Bendigo luxury 8-ply in like this light blue, which it's the colors. I mean, I've got the window open, so I'm not getting the best color, but I'm getting really nice light for me. So, and then I've got this color here, and then I do another round of Sierra, and then I go in with, where is it? Oh, here we go. A round of a really nice gray, and it's just sort of breaks up. So I've got the stripes happening, and it just meant that I could just go with it, because I tried it out. Like just the pure Sierra was nice, and I like that. So that's what this is. It's just a big Sierra square, and I do like that. However, I did not have anywhere near enough yarn to do that. And I would need to have bought more yarn, and I didn't want to do that. I really wanted this to be a stash project, and like it was a constraint that I put upon myself. And so I could absolutely go and just make it out of this and have no color joins. Like here, there's going to be, I've got to carry, like this was a swatch. I've got to pull it out. I didn't want to cut the colors just in case I didn't like it. So I just carried them like a lunatic up the sides. So I do need to pull this out and redo this because this was just testing out the colors. So, you know, I've got to, and I do want to carry the yarns. I just need to carry them differently because I don't want to be weaving in 11 billion ends. So, I definitely want to do that. Let's just see if we get a slightly, this one seems to just work really nicely. That is exactly what I'm seeing. This one here, the blue is different. The blue is a much icier blue. It's like a brighter, icier blue. So let me just see if I just hold up the blue. So yeah, that's showing the blue better. So a bit more natural light there. But yeah, so it's not quite as, it's I think either blue would work. I think the blue that we could see in the camera also works, but this is the blue I have. So yeah, so I'm going to be frogging this because like, look at this. I've got bits of Sierra left from a pile of projects. But actually, no, what I'm doing is, I've just realized something. I hope I've written notes somewhere for this because I also have another colorway. So I have sagebrush left over from another project. So what I was doing was was Nevada blue, Nevada gray, and then it was Nevada blue and Sierra gray. So I did 3 of the Nevadas and then 1 of the sagebrush. But I think I was actually going to be doing 1 of each going through. No, I was just going to bring it down to 2 of the Nevadas. So 1 and 2, and then the sagebrush, because I do have less of this. But it's like, because there's sagebrush in there. That's what that round is. It just blended in, because like if you hold that next to that, they do work really well together. There are some colors that are actually in both yarns. So I'm just using up the stash now. My friend Kelly in the chat here, she had a spare ball of Nevada. So that is a backup ball. But I've got all these like bits, you know, like from ends of other projects and samples and stuff and things. And there's a full ball of the sagebrush. So sometimes we don't need, I'm just like, where is the bag with the rest of that in it is my question. There it is. It's just here. Because, like, here we go. That was another version where I was going Sierra, grey, blue, Sierra, Sierra, grey, blue, Sierra. And I wanted to break up the solid colours a bit more. But yeah, so like I've got all this of the grey and the blue. I've got tons of it. So obviously I didn't need to go shopping. Okay, that's my point here. So I didn't need to go shopping. I didn't want to go shopping. I wanted to utilize yarns I had for a project I may or may not be in love with. That's the other catch. I don't know if I'm going to wear it. But it is our retreat project this year. So for those of us that are going to retreat, we have the option. Jenny King is coming to retreat to teach us how to put this project together. Yeah, Jenny King. Abby is really rude sometimes. But yeah, so I've got this mess here, this absolute schmozzle of yarn mess. So I'm going to drop that back in there. That back in there. I'm just trying to find all the ends of things. Oh, is that part of that ball? This is part of this ball, apparently. Okay. Let's go roundy. You need to go around here, under there, over there, under there. That's part of this ball as well, apparently. Or did I just join on some random yarn? Nope, that is. It's part of this ball too. Cool, cool. So shove that in the middle so I don't lose that. But I think that's all part of this ball as well. So that's a ball there. There's a little bit there. That's probably enough for a few little rounds here and there. Oh yeah, that's what I attached to for the swatch. Bonus. Double bonus. But yeah, so I'm just using up all these bits and bobs to use my stash. And like these are considerable amounts. These are not like, I wouldn't consider these scraps, right? Like this was a part of a blanket that I decided I didn't want. So I've actually got like a pile of these little balls that have been pulled out because I made like 5 row stripes or something across a large single blanket, and it just I didn't want it. So, you know, I made that decision and frogged it, which means that, oh, hang on, that's tangled around the bag. Are you through the handle? Does anyone else get their yarn caught through the handles for random reasons? So, wow. Cool. Thank you, Leanne, for getting that one. That one was a fun one. Luckily, YouTube also were just on it. I think they'll be back, so just keep an eye out for that one, Leanne. All right, so we're going to be frogging this guy because we need that yarn back, and we'll need to re-ball this-ish, maybe. I don't know. That's got to go there. Alrighty, we've got a plan. So I think, what size hook was I going with this? I think I was using the 6mm. Was I using a 6? I think I was using a 6mm. Let me find one 6mm hook. Let's have a look here. Yay for stash busting. The benefits of substantial stash, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a win using what you have. I'm doing a cowl from stash as well. It's a top, you know, just for a change. Oh, I am blurry. Unblurry. There we go. So yeah, let's move that back. We need more room here. We need the room. Alrighty, so I mean, how long has it taken us? 45 minutes to actually start doing any craft. That's hilarious. Okay. So we might frog this one first because it'll be just so much easier because it's not multiple, you know. It's just one color that's got to come out. Now, a little tip, if you're using like a fluffy yarn, like something that is like a mohair or something that's catching a lot, drop it in the freezer, let it get cold, and probably in a Ziploc bag so it doesn't end up with like water vapor on it or anything. But go from that perspective, and then once you've got that all going, it's easier to frog it out. Something in the, I don't know the science behind it, but there's something about chilling it that just makes the world of difference. So if you're having problems with like a grabby yarn, frogging it, shove it in the freezer and see if that makes a difference. I know it definitely works on mohair. I've done it with mohair, but I haven't tried it on anything else. The reason I say this is because this is a little grabby. It's a little grabby. There we go. There we go. So I personally just find it's easier just to pull out a bit and then wrap it, and pull out a bit and then wrap it. But like, you know, you do you. Hey Nikki, it's great to see you. So, you know, like I could start a new project. I really could. So do you have a method to hide your yarn along? Oh yeah, I do. I do. So it's sort of part of it's it's sort of like a kind of just wrap it through the I'll show you when I'm doing it, but I kind of just wrap it through the stitch. It's not perfect, but this is not a blanket. This is a coat, and there is a distinct wrong side and right side. So I will determine what the wrong side is, and I will make sure that if there's any visible carrying, it won't be visible like this. It'll be more of a case of you might see a little bit of blue poking out from a bit of grey or something like that. It won't be like floats. But make sure that any of that is on the inside. So because I do have a right side and a wrong side because it's garment. If it's a blanket, you don't tend to have a right side and wrong side that's quite so important. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I personally, I do make sure when I've got my blankets on me, that I like having the border edge the correct way up. But other than that, and I've been known to go, oh, this is wrong, and flip over an entire blanket and have to re-warm up the whole darn thing again. Not weird at all. It's so not weird. So not weird. Oh, um, but yeah, you need to make some of these determinations for yourself. Like, what can you live with? Now, I don't mind a little bit of color peeking through on the inside or on the wrong side of my fabric. I don't want floats. I don't want anything I can snag my fingers in or get caught on something. I get my clothing caught on drawers and door handles and stuff all the time anyway. I don't need to make it easier for the clothing to do it. And this is going to be a granny stitch project, so it already is going to lend itself to being the bane of my existence. So one of us, says John. Oh, I'm so glad. I am. I'm so glad I'm one of us. So yeah, it's just one of these things. I need some more of my tea. So today after my live stream, I've actually got to get some extra work done because I'm going away tomorrow for 3 days. So I'm heading out on a sewing retreat, checking out a really, what I'm hoping be a really neat venue up on the Sunshine Coast. And I'm really looking forward to just kicking back and like, I feel like I've been kicking back for the last couple of weeks, but the difference being I've been sick, right? And coughing constantly. So it's not like it's kicking back and relaxing. It's just not running around like a lunatic making the coughing happen more. But what I'm going to be doing at this retreat is I'm going to be kicking back and doing some sewing. So this afternoon I need to dig out my sewing crates because I keep all my sewing stuff separate and it doesn't get a pride of place home like this does. It's tucked in a crate hiding in my bedroom, or 2 crates hiding in my bedroom. And so I need to go through that, work out what I'm going to be bringing along and sort of get my bag packed and all that sort of stuff. So that's ready to go. And then I need to get some extra work done that will cover me over the weekend. But I do have to take my laptop away just in case I need to be contacted and do something for work while I'm away. That's one of the pros and cons of remote work, and remote contract work. Sometimes, like, yeah, you can just sort of go away, but you still need to be available. So I'll be doing that as well, and have that with me. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think I'm going to try. I got to sit down and double check I've got everything I need for it, which I probably should have done weeks ago, but I didn't. Because I think I do have everything for it. I think I already double checked. I think I was going to make it another time and then didn't get around to it. I want to make myself a little overnight bag because I don't have a nice one. I've got a dodgy, cheap, nasty one that I bought from Amazon that does the job and it does it well and it's fine. And I would like to relegate it to a backup bag, and have a really cute, like, Star Wars themed overnight bag. And I have some beautiful drill fabric with all the robots from the Star Wars Force Awakens movie. So it's got like this, like the technical schematics of the droids. So it's nerdy. I'm a nerd. I don't care. Okay, I don't like whatever. You can have whatever fabric you want on your overnight bag. I want this Star Wars droid fabric. Okay. Um, and so I've just got to double check. I've got definitely got enough zip tape, but have I got zip tape that matches or contrasts accordingly? And then which zipper pulls do I want? Do I want my Grogu zipper pulls for this, or do I want something a little more utilitarian because it's, like robot schematic fabric? I mean, I want them in gunmetal grey. I know that already. So luckily for me, I have a significant, I'm just seeing if it's here. No, it's in the other room. A significant collection of zip pulls and zip tapes. So, and I've just got to double check if, I don't think this particular bag has like little feet, like the little metal feet, but I have to just double check. I don't think it does. I think that's another project bag that I bought those for. Well, it's a different duffel. It's a duffel bag I bought those for. But I have to just check. I just bought a SpaceX t-shirt that has the Starship schematic like IKEA instructions. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. That sounds so fun. Wearing my Rocket Lab Electron t-shirt today for the Kiwis. Awesome. Awesome. Respect to the Kiwis in the chat. But yeah, just one of the great things about making our own garments, making our own projects, whether it's sewing, knitting, crocheting, spinning, whatever it is, you get to do what you like. You get to make the project that either A, fits your personality, and that you like. If you want to make yourself a Star Wars droid overnight bag, you absolutely can. If you want to make yourself a, just a plain blue with intense cables jumper that fits in a specific way, that's a pullover, that's got a V-neck, that's, not a deep V-neck, that sits on your hips exactly where you like it. This is why we make our own things. It's so they fit us. That's so that they fit our personality. They fit our color preferences. We're not limited to what some shop says your size can wear. If you can make it, you can ignore them all, and you can wear whatever you want, and you can have it however you want. Like I get so frustrated that in Australia for plus size women, it's either solid colors, which I actually don't mind solid colors, or large floral. And I don't do large floral. Yeah, and so, them being my two options, I go with the solid color. So yeah, thank you. But yeah, it's definitely tricky, and I can't always get the shape of things that I like because serious, like I'm a plus size girl. I hate peplum tops. I hate them. And everyone's like, "Oh, they're so flattering." No, I don't like them. I don't like how they sit. And so I don't want that. And so sometimes, depending on the season and whatever the fashion is, that's all that's there. And you're just like, well, it looks like I'm buying some more t-shirts. So we get to give ourselves options. We get to have the colors that we like. We get to have the shapes that we like. We get to have the fiber content that we like. Some of us can wear acrylic, no problems at all. I personally need it to be a blend of something that breathes as well. Otherwise, I just become this big ball of sweat. which is classy. So classy. Um, but I know that about myself, so I don't, I don't wear them. Peplums make me look 3 foot tall. That's the thing for me. They make me feel so short, like a toddler. Um, Leanne says, I wish I could find more solid color dresses. It's hard being plus size. Yeah, because apparently all us plus size girlies want to wear muumuus and bright colors and you know garish patterns, and I'm not here for that. Like, sorry, I would rather not. I would rather wear a t-shirt and just anything but a very busy. And for me, part of it is I find they really draw attention, and I don't like that sort of attention. So I'm like, nope, I don't need to be the bright colored, happy person in the room. No. Where's my black t-shirt that I can blend into the corner shadows? So, yeah. But like, this is the thing. There are people out there who love the bright colored, oversized dresses or the very, very bright and vibrant um near like floor length dresses. Like the reason they sell them is because there's a market. There are people who love them, and I'm not trying to yuck people's yums. If you love that, that is awesome for you, but that's not my thing, and that's why I get so frustrated with clothes shopping, that I cannot find my thing, which is much more toned down. I don't mind the occasional sort of wardrobe piece that pops. Like I've got like this beautiful dark green top that just I love, but it's a summer top. It's like a spaghetti strap thing. But because it's a spaghetti strap thing, I always wear a little thing over it because I don't like my arms. But I love the top and I love the color of the top. Um so yeah. I put up with the fact that it's not everything I love because I was able to get something that I love, which was this beautiful, beautiful emerald green. Um, but yeah, it's just the nature of these things, and it's just being able to make your own stuff. It's a little bit freeing. It gives you options. Like I now walk into a store and go, yeah, no, I'll just knit my own jumper that fits better. Sorry, expensive store who wanted to charge me $100 for an ill-fitting sweater in a less than favorable color. I really hope that we get a decent Pantone color of the year this year, next year, because this year's was white. Leanne says it would be great if I could hem my dresses as a shorty. That's awkward too. Oh yeah, like the whole all plus size women are 7 feet tall thing. Yeah, that one bothers me as well. One of the things I actually love is what's it called? There's particular fabric, and Abby and I both got pants in it, and I love it because it's so simple to you just cut it and it doesn't fray. Plissy fabric. Leanne says, be right back. I need to go see a peplum. Yes. Have fun with that, Leanne. Leslie, it's great to see you. So, yeah, being able to have options that open up for us, being able to shape things. Like, I've got my knitted track pants, right? They're actually knitted in this color here, right? The knitted tube track pants. And one of the funny things about it is when I first started knitting the legs, I realized I had to adjust the leg length. So like the hips and the waist and the waist drop and everything, they were fine. But the measurement from my sort of hip to my knee was quite short. And so was my knee to my the ankles was quite short. And I had to make these adjustments because there was like space for knees. And so you had to make sure your knee bit was where your knee actually, is, because otherwise it looked weird. And how do I know it looked weird? Is because I tried it on and I was just like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And I was able to pull it back and make the adjustments and have a super comfy pair of custom knit track pants, which I never in a million years would have thought I would hear myself saying that I love them, and I do love them, and I've been wearing them, and I need to put them in to get washed, but I need to do that one. I can't leave those ones for the fam. So, but yeah, it's definitely nice having things that fit. Oh, was last year's color brown? What are they thinking? Like, I don't mind if it's not like a color I like, but brown and white? Like, are they just taking the mickey now? Is that what they're doing? They're just taking the mickey out of fashion? I think that's what it is. Why buy it when you can knit it for $200? But the thing is, right, yeah, sure, it might well cost $200 in yarn. But at least it fits. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's in fabric you like and it fits. Thumbs down to the peplum top in plus size. Yeah, Leanne. And as a short girly, then that's a double thumbs down from me. Yeah. But some people love them and some people look stunning in them. Like, again, it's going to come down to the individuals. This individual says, no, thank you. It's a hard pass. So, yes. We've nearly reclaimed all of this yarn. So that's a good start. Oh, I'm getting to the pointy bit here. I really do like how they've got the teal and the sort of burgundy browny color there. I love that a lot. I know it seems like a bizarre thing to do. Let's reclaim this yarn to knit a garment with, but it was just sitting in my stash. So why not? Why not? Bianca also says anything with a fitted waistline is a no. Yeah, I like a stretchy waistband so that, I can breathe or eat or not eat or whatever and the dress stays up, or it doesn't strangle me. Oops, hang on a second. I've just got to work out what is happening here. Okay, right at the end. Sometimes it's hard to get the chains out and I have to just, I don't know. Sometimes I have to just give up and cut it, but not this time. This time it worked. Alrighty, so we just wind this last bit on to our giant ball of blop. Cloud Dancer. Puke. Haven't had a green since 2017. Are you serious? Has it been that long since there's been a green? That's a joke. But then they go with moose brown and white. White is not a color. I'm sorry, it's not. It's a tint. It's not a color. All right, that one is done. Like, I'm not trying to make the most beautiful yarn balls or anything in the world. I just want them to be usable. And they're going to roll around in this bag. I mean, technically, I would like to re-roll this. Do I have a ball winder handy? That'd be nice. I do. Hang on a second. Because this one's a doubly mess. It's like loopy mess, plus it's in there. So I just need a battery bank. Hello, if I was a power bank, where would it be? There's a power bank with a cord. Double bonus if we've got a cord. I love that this guy oh, that's not the right cord. I need a USB-C cord. What are you? Micro. Why do I even have a USB micro? Like, who even uses a micro these days? Excuse me. Where's the USB-C cord? USB-C. You're also micro. We must have been needing a micro cord for something. They're all out. Weird. Look. Here's a USB-C cord. USB-C to USB-C. Let's see if you've got enough power in you. Because not all cords are created equally. What did I just drop on the ground? No idea. Alrighty, let's see. Are you going to do the job? Yay, it is. Alright, now we just need to find the end. That's going to be the trick here. Okay, so we've got middle. And we've got end. Okay, so you belong on the outside. Oh, there we go. I think we've got. I think we might have an end. Bonus. Where is it? Okay. Alrighty, we have an end. We found an end. What I might do is just bring you in just a little bit more there. You need to be on this side to drop you over the little peg leg. Okay. I don't want too much tension on this. I just want it to not be this. Suspicious Potato says, I'm waiting young to untangling handspun that did a swan dive into the grass yesterday while drying. Oh my gosh, no. Leanne says, I just purchased me a new ball winder. I went for the metal 2-arm job. She's heavy duty and super sturdy on the table. Love it. Look, I didn't realize how much I'd love this Kato one, honestly. And for an electric ball winder that I can run with a battery pack, or mains power, I'm pretty chuffed with it, like, to be honest. And because we did buy it, it was on sale, and we had a group purchase as well as it being on sale. I think I was out of pocket like $65 or something, which in Australia for a motorized ball winder is just a joke. Now I just got to work out how I'm gonna stop this from tangling up around the stuff coming from the middle. Oh, stop that. Don't be. What's it? That's a knot. Cool. There's a knot right in the middle. That's what I love. A big old knot. Bring back the speed a little bit. There we go. Okay. But yeah, so ball winders are a cool tool. I know, like, there's a lot of people out there that are like, ball winders and yarn swift aren't necessary, blah 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 blah. I disagree. I think if you're a yarn crafter, you should at least have a ball winder. Yes, a yarn swift might be a bit of a luxury, but you can buy less expensive ones. But you can also use the upturned legs of a dining table chair if you've got like a 4-leg, chair kind of thing. Not everybody does. Oh, hang on, I'm getting janked up here. There we go. But yeah, so having the ball winder is a must. But even just for stuff like this, like, yeah, everyone's like, oh, I don't buy my yarn in skeins. I only buy it in balls. Cool, good for you. This was in a ball, and then I destroyed it, and now it needs to be reballed. And yes, I could absolutely do it by hand, and I have done it by hand. But how much easier is this? Well, she says needing a third hand to do it. But it's because I janked up the balls so badly. Maybe you don't jank the balls up. I mean, I do. Bianca says it depends on how often you need to wind skeins. Look, I don't have to do it that often, but when I need to do it, I need to do it. And so I'm just like, man, I'm so glad I've got options. I do also have a manual ball winder. Um, I have two, really. I have my big Nancy's Knickknacks, as well as a little Nip Hicks one, and they're both great. They both do their jobs, and but this is my current favorite. Um, so yeah. Um, oops, hang on. I've got a large metal ball winder, and I need to mount it on a board and change how the little tension arm is attached. It's just a bad design. That's frustrating. That's so frustrating. Um, that's one thing I will say about this particular one. Like, it's got a clamp to be clamped to a table, but it's currently coping just resting on top of the table. And because I've, hang on, little thing. No, wait. There we go. Um, um, it's just super convenient. It's just super convenient, honestly. And I love that convenience. And it was 60 Australian bucks on sale. So keep an eye out. Kato have sales all the time. Don't pay full price. Wait and get it on sale. Um, and they have some other cool looking stuff. I'm really interested in their little iCord or their little knitting machine, because what I want to do is I want to run lace weight through it. Stop. There's a knot. I want to run lace weight through it and sort of create my own chainette yarn in like my color that I want. So yeah. Oh, yours has a clamp, but the clamp is garbage and marked up my table. Yeah, clamps tend to do that. This one's got like a little clamp with a little cushion foot on it and stuff, but I very rarely use it. I just kind of plop it there. Oh, calm down. Calm down. I've got some extra little knot bits I would like to deal with. There you go. Oh, I've also worked out that if it stops and I just give it a little tug, it starts itself back up again. So that's why I've given it like a proper knot here. Hang on a second. Get through that whole ball, and then we get to nearly to the actual crocheted up bit, and this is where all the knots and the janky bits are. Of course, lull me into a false sense of security, why don't you? I mean, it doesn't help that I was working from both ends of the ball at the same time. It's not the yarn's fault, it's my fault. Alrighty. Just keep going. Maybe by the end of this stream, I'll just have the yarn ready. It's just this is the last square to do. We're not doing any more after this. Then we can start. top. Alrighty, because now I need to pull the grey. Manually wind the grey and the other colours, and then we'll get back to the ball, back to the, because there we go, and then we wind this guy. Very classy manner of this. After a few times using the upside down chair Swift, I bought a proper umbrella Swift. Then I couldn't find it, so I bought a second, and now I have to. I had one that kept breaking, because I bought just a really cheap and nasty one. And then I worked out how to fix it, and now I have 2 umbrella Swifts as well. Sometimes it just works out that way, honestly. Let's not judge each other, okay? Would you rather have 2 or none, really? I'd rather have 2, hands down. Hands down, 2 wins. A little ball of sagebrush that was the end of another, was probably off my pants. Alrighty, that's a little ball there. And then we've got the light blue to go with. Geez, we're on fire. Like, if I could just bring it on camera so you could see what I'm doing. All right, wind this guy on. They're just plain wood, so I thought about taking one apart and staining the wood. Oh, I mean, that'd be nice if that's something you like to do. That'd be a fun project, I think. Alrighty, and now on to another. Okay, and then another round of grey. Last of the grey rounds. So we should get to the tail of the yarn. Disconnected. Lipspin Girl says I bought a handmade wooden Swift, but argue with it every time I try to use it. Bought a $10 plastic one from Amazon, and it works so much better. Isn't that frustrating? When you're like, I'm going to buy something beautiful and custom and delicious, and then it's just a total dog's breakfast. Oh, stop it. Last of the light blue. Boom. Tail. Alrighty. We have wound all the balls. Yay. I was saying sometimes it's not worth saving the bit at the start. I'm thinking it might not be worth saving this bit at the start. It's a bit been well loved, and I hazard a guess it's been crocheted over, because like look at that. That's my concern. I've got this really thick nut. I might just chop it off there. Let's make a decision. Snippety doos. Considering how much we've reclaimed and how much is going to come out of stash, I think I can afford to lose that bit. Let's copy it back away. put this back in the thing. Innerlogic says, I bought a plastic nitty noddy. I wasn't too impressed with it's a flat pieces and then you add pieces to adjust the size, but meh. Look, I've got a plastic nitty noddy. I started out with one. I built it out of garden irrigation piping. It was fine. It did the job. And then I bought a timber one and went, oh my God, why did I ever use a plastic one? There was no hate. There was no animosity. It was just like, holy dooly, this other option is just so much better. All right. So these are the colors we're going to start with. I'm going to move that down. Let's get us some. We have a Cano Air somewhere that I can give it a quick spray. There we go. Anybody else like to do that just to clear the table and just, I've got some fluffs. I'll just Cano Air spray that. Okay, so we're going to be using the Nevada, the Sagebrush, the two Bendigo colors, which I do have written down somewhere. Do I have, so this one is Licorice Sorbet, and the green one does not have a tag. Hey, look what I found. Bonus crochet hooks. Wood. Peppermint sorbet. I also found some yarn, some singles, silky singles that I've been using on another project apparently. Didn't know that was in the bottom. Score, win. And let's put the bonus hooks. Hey, look at that. I got a 4mm poopy gold. I didn't even know I owned that. How's that? How's that? They need to wipe down. They're doing the whole I'm silicon, I've been not aging well thing. Okay. Look, let's just start here. It's just a straight up granny square. Now, obviously, I say straight up granny square like that means anything. It means nothing. Everyone does their granny squares differently. I personally like to do a chain start and then work over the tail. So it's nearly like the safety of the chains plus the like the benefits of the magic loop where you can adjust the middle and things like that. So everyone's different. Everyone does things like their granny squares slightly differently. Well, not everybody. Lots of people do. You know, I get people who say, "Oh, it's just the average granny square," and you're like, "Okay, come on. How many chains do you put in the corners? Do you put chains between your spaces? Do you turn after each round? Like, you know, where do you turn? Like, what's the deal? Come on. There's actual, like, I need more information. Telling me it's the basic granny square means nothing. There's so many versions and variations of the basic granny square that it's not actually a standard pattern. It comes down to different individuals. Okay. Now, how was I doing the corners here? Because all my color changing happens in the corner. Let me just double check how I was doing the corner. Yeah, like that. Okay. Because that's the other thing. Do you want the join to travel around or do you want it to always be in the one spot? Like there's so many options. Now what am I going to, I do want two of this in the middle just because it's such a small amount. Let me just double check how I'm doing the corner here. Okay, so I do the first three and then I come back and do the next three later so that I can have my chains in the corner. Okay. I will show you what I've done in just 1 second. I'll just come back around to it and show you what I did. And again, this is just another way. Just another way to do it. It's not the only way. It may not be the way you prefer. There's so many different options. You know, how do you change your colors? Where do you change your colors? What are you doing? What have I done there? Oh no, that's correct. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's correct. The first time Daniel mentioned a can of air, I thought that he should get me. I thought he was punking me. Can of air is great. I use it for so many different things. John's put down his preferred granny square method. Knitspin Girl says, I remember when Franklin Habit went looking for the basic granny square pattern and nearly lost his mind with all of the variations. Leanne says, now let's watch how quick Chantel can get her square moving. Yeah, like once I get on the roll again, it's pretty quick, and it's a 6mm hook, so these squares come up fast. So for me, I prefer 2 chains in the corners and no chains between the clusters. But as I said, that's just my preference. That doesn't make it right. Now I'm come back around to the first corner where I did. So a corner should be a cluster, some chain variation, and then the other cluster. But I've only done the first cluster here because I want to do my color changing in the corner. So then I'd come in and do my second cluster, 2 and 3, and then I do my chains and join on there, and then that's going to sit there quietly. Did I do my blue first or my green first? Probably doesn't matter. And they're both blue, Chantel. I mean, one's blue and one's grey. Photos is what I'm looking for. I took photos. Photos. Let's have a look here. If I was a photo of my crochet, where would I be? It's obviously been a hot minute since I did this. There we go. Okay, so it was blue first. I only did the one color in the middle, but this time I did the 2. I wanted the 2. I mean, how good does that look? That should be like my phone's background right there. Boom. I think that should be a screenshot. Anybody want that? I'll send it to you. Alrighty, so we went with blue first. So let's go with blue first. It worked. Let's do it again. Actually, I'll put that in the bag so I don't lose that for when I actually make a Ravelry project eventually. I used a tiny USB rechargeable air blower to clean out the toaster recently. It worked well, and no toaster fires for us. I mean, that's always the thing, right? You want to make sure there's no toaster fires. Okay, so now the other thing is I want to turn my work. So, chain 1 in that color. It's hard to describe it. Oh, there we go. That's the problem. I don't have a long enough tail to weave that in. Okay, chain 2 for the corner. Bring that over, and then I'm going to work over this tail a little bit because then I don't have to worry about it later. I made that really bad. Let me just try again. Let me just try chaining again like a total noob. And then what I want to do is how I want to carry this yarn. So this is the yarn from the previous row. I just want to sort of flip it to the back here and then finish off that stitch and then bring it back over to the front. Now hopefully, bring that to the front and get out of the way. Now hopefully that should be enough to help it carry up. So see how it's up the top now? And this is the front here, and it does show just a little tiny bit, but you've really got to go hunting for it, and you can sort of give it a bit of a pull and it'll hide a bit better. But if you want it to be totally invisible, you've got other options. Like you could cut it every round, and I'm not willing to do that. Great idea, phone screensaver. Yeah, I really like it. It's sort of just sitting here so I can just see the image, and it's super cute. Now, because this is a super chunky yarn, I am putting 2 chains in the corner. You don't have to. You can do one. It's your call. It's guess what? It's your project, and I'm not going to be counting your stitches. So you can do whatever you want. Me personally, I like it to sit sort of flat with my 6mm hook chunky chain thing. So I want a little bit more room to sit there so it doesn't have to stretch the stitches out. Agreed, suspicious potatoes. If anyone is looking that closely, they are not your friends. Absolutely. Absolutely agree with that statement. That's 3 and 3. Yep. Because I'm live streaming, apparently I also can't count at the same time. So, you know, I've got to keep checking. I've just got to keep checking because it could be very bad. It's a corner, so there's 2 clusters in a corner, Chantel, because it's just how it works to make a corner. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Once I get into I'm just not in the zone yet. Once I'm in the zone, I'll be okay, I think. And I'm still live streaming. No, shoes wherever you left them at it, Abby. You're not a toddler. Okay, and then we chain 2. Okay, so I've made a mistake, right? I did the carry up in the second stitch rather than straight up in the first stitch. So when I go to join this and turn, I'm going to have to carry it across the back a little bit. Now, that's probably fine. In this particular instance, do I want to go? I'm not going to pull it back for this. But I'll make sure that the next time, like, so as I'm carrying, like, I'll make sure I'm carrying this one better. I'll carry it up the chain so that it's in the right spot when I want to join it on later. I need to carry it through that first stitch, not later. So I'll have a little look in 1 second. So 1, 2, 3. I'll check it when I come back around, but I think I've pretty much worked over it, so it doesn't matter. Sounds like you have a kitchen bandit, possibly. No, Abby's probably just left her shoes either in her car or at the door, and it's gone somewhere she wasn't expecting, and now she can't find it because she didn't have a proper look. Leanne says, that's usually what I do. I cut each color, but I would love to carry the color change. I'll have a play. Inner Logic says I cut with color changes. I don't want to cut. If I can avoid it, I will avoid it. Now, admittedly, I am alternating every couple of rows with this particular yarn. So if I had to cut these guys, that would be one thing. But I do not want to cut this main color that's being alternated sort of every second, every third row. Because that is just annoying when I could just carry it. So when I come round, I'll show you what it looks like up close once I've carried that yarn. And I'll show you like the front side, because as I said, this is a garment rather than a blanket. So there is a right side and a wrong side of this particular one. So do I have a stitch marker handy? The answer is probably not. I know exactly where they all are in my lounge room. I've got plenty of knitted stitch markers, but none for crochet. Let me see if I've got any. Do I have a spare one in the bottom? Nope. Of course not. Why would we have a stitch marker in a craft room? Why would we have a crochet stitch marker in a craft room? I got a million a million knitted ones over, like 3 there, a pile in there, a pile over there. But oh wait, Game Widows to the rescue! Boop 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 boop. If I could just work out how to use it. There you go. Little blue controller. And I just want to stick this just on the front, just so I know that this is our right side. Game Widow says you're welcome. I can't crochet at all right now. The infection in my thumb is way out of control. Leanne, have you been to the doctor about that? Have you got them to look at it? Bianca says, I try to carry wherever possible, but this top I'm making, I have to cut quite a lot. That's so frustrating. That is very frustrating. I too prefer to carry if I can, but I also understand like there was a particular designer that I was doing their project on, and their instructions for carrying the yarn was just not my speed. I could see the carried yarn and it was so blatant, and they're like, it's part of the design. I'm like, no, it's just not. And so I would cut the yarn and, you know, weave in all the ends, because there's a difference between carrying the yarn and it may be poking through every now and again versus carrying the yarn and it's just like, hi, I'm right here in your face hole. And you can't do anything about it. Alrighty. We are coming up to the first corner again. Oh, hang on. Have I carried that? Oh yeah, that's up there. Cool. All right. Now I will be carrying a few yarns is the other thing, because I technically have 4 colors. This one I'm tossing up whether or not to carry, because I'm only doing it sort of like it'll be the next row. So I think I will cut this one. YouTube's not getting enough data. I'm sorry guys if I'm doing the spinny for you. Let me just jump over here into the stream set. No, stream health. Here we go. I'm not quite sure why it's not getting enough data. It should be totally getting enough data. But yeah, so I put that there, and then I carry the yarn over the top of that one, because now I'm going to have to carry both of these through the grey. But what I want to just show you is you can see where I made the mistake carrying. So you can sort of see it when you can see it there. And so it's had to jump across, but I worked over it. But that's the worst. That's the backside, and that's the worst that you're going to see. I mean, obviously, unless it was like fluorescent orange or something, it just happened to be bluey and blend in with the bluey. But as I go forward, I'm going to be carrying them not over here, and they'll be carried through here, so they'll get worked over. So they won't be as noticeable. But yeah, okay, stream's back to good now. That was I got a message on this end saying the stream quality was bad. So I don't know why, it just was. So now we've got to join the grey on. So yeah, so I think I'm going to be cutting this one, because otherwise I'm carrying a 4th yarn to use every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row, and that seems pointless. But the others I'm alternating every sort of 3rd row. So, but this one is every sort of 5th. So, we are doing IKEA tonight. Sorry, I actually forgot to mention it entirely. We will be at IKEA tonight. So if you are a local and you want to come and join and have fun, we will be at IKEA Logan tonight from about 6 o'clock. So yeah. So I'm going to be joining this one on, but I need to carry both of these other colors up and then bring that and then carry both of them back to the back again. And then, whoops, try not to work them and just work over them into the space. Oops, I don't want to actually, they need to go over there. They need to go to the other side because I don't actually want to work over them. So there we go. But they have been carried up the chain, or at least where, no, what happened? Hang on a second. Try again. They should have been carried up the chain and they didn't. That was something I did. Janky. Try again. So we pull that one tight. Chain one. Drop those over. Chain two. Oh, I see. When I dropped them back. So and then we want to yarn over, but we want to carefully not work over these guys, but they need to be out of the way. So it's a bit fiddly to start with, but they are at the top of the chain here at the back. So you can see how the colors are coming out the top of the chain at the back. We're not actually working over them, we're just working them out of the way. So 1 and 2, and then we just go on about our business until we come back around. So that's how I'm doing it. It's just a case of holding them out of the way, making sure that any of the sort of real bulk is on the back side of the fabric. So this is the front side of the fabric. Leanne, if you have an infection in your thumb and it is causing pain and you have not been able to get rid of it for now nearly a week, it is time to go to the doctors. Especially if it's causing so much pain you can't crochet. You need to go. It is time. I mean, you know, what if it's real bad and they have to cut your thumb off now? I'm joking, by the way, but that was the thing my mum always used to say. Well, we'll just have to chop it off. Inner logic. Oh, that's hard. I'm not looking forward to that again. Alrighty, we are carrying the yarn and getting the square done. We will carry 3 yarns through this colour, but we won't carry that one. That one will get choppy-chopped at the end of each round. Let's have a look here. And then we'll pause once we've gotten this grey round done, and we'll have another little look and we'll check the back to make sure it's, you know, it's not going yucky. You know, it's not getting too bulky or gross. We are a bossy like, yeah, we are. When we're worried about somebody, Leanne, I know you're the same. If you thought that one of us should go to the doctor and we weren't, you would be on our case. You know it. We know it. And it is all because we all care about each other. That's that simple. Alrighty. Oh, Stuart wants to stab it. Gosh, no. If it's going to get stabbed, let the doctor stab it, honestly. At least I'll use sterile stuff and be able to treat whatever happens. Consider yourself told. Yeah. Alrighty, we are coming around to this corner that we've got. It's quite bulky. I can sort of feel that it's a little bulky. And you just have to decide for yourself if you're happy for that or not. For me, I will sacrifice a little bit of bulk in a corner so that I don't have to deal with it. Okay. Alrighty, we're going to join on this yarn. This one will be cut off. I will not be carrying this one. At least at this stage. No, I don't think I'll carry it at all. One, because now I've got to carry 3. 1, 2, and chain 3, and get them out of the way. That's still carrying it up the back, which is working for me. 1 and 2. All right, let me just get this over here a little bit and then we'll flip it over and we'll have a good look. Because this is the worst case scenario. This is with 3 yarns carried. There won't be more than 3 carried, I don't think. I think I'd get a bit annoyed. Alrighty. So this is our front of our fabric because this is where our stitch marker is. I'm going to just weave this tail through to the back here just so that I've got nothing on the front that I don't want on the front. Right? So that is the front of our fabric. And this is the back. We've got this tail here, which I could probably weave in and get out of the way. And this tail here, where are the rest of the tails? I must have worked over them. Oh yeah, they're just sitting there, I see them. But you can see, so that one there, that stitch is loose, but that's just because that stitch is loose. But if I just give that a tug, I think that was a mistake. That stitch is just straight up loose at the start of the chains. And I'm being so fussy, and it's only because I'm like pulling at it and stuff that I can even see it, but there is a loose stitch there. So I just need to be more conscious of my joining chains. Like I didn't do it with this one. It's nowhere near as loose, but this is the back of the work. This is the inside of the garment, and I'm carrying 3 colors. So I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm totally okay with that. This side, can you see where I'm carrying the 3 colors? Because we've got multicolor yarns, so we can't really tell. And this, like in the corner, it changes colors because I'm changing directions. So yeah, I'm happy with that. What do you guys reckon? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to drink some more tea. And it's actually not like I have to be like, okay, yeah, there's extra bulk there, but like compared to the other corners, I'm like, it's not that noticeably different. Obviously it'll be different depending on what yarns you're using and things like that. Like some yarns will just be firmer than others and naturally bulky, but this one just seems to be doing okay. Okay. So I only did the 2 rounds together of this color at the start, just because otherwise it's just this tiny little bit in the middle, and I wanted to start off with a bit more color. So that's the only reason. Every other round is going to be switched each row. I'm sort of looking at this and I'm wondering how hard it would be just to carry this extra yarn. But it is every 5 rounds it's going to be used. That seems a bit more reasonable to cut and join if you're only going to use it once every 5th round. So yeah, I think I'll just cut and join it, and I think I'll just suck it up and just cut and join this extra color, because it's really here just to sort of make the Nevada go further. If that makes any sense at all. I was a little bit worried that I just wouldn't have the meterage for the Nevada with the scraps that I've got without having to buy more. It looks good. That looks good, and it's the inside. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it's enough to be worrisome. Like I do this with blankets where it is both sides, but it's each individual has their own preferences, and we're making our own stuff. And if you don't like something, that's totally okay, and you can get to do it a different way. But for me, I would prefer not to be cutting every single yarn because did you see the project that I'm planning on making? Like that is going to require a lot more yarn cutting down the track. And if I can avoid yarn cutting now, I will. Yeah, I will. But I'm so looking forward to it. But I do want to make mine a bit short of sort of more hip length rather than knee length because knee length things just make me look super short because I'm super short and I don't need my clothes to remind me that I'm super short. Like I am 5'3". Alrighty, we are coming around the corner. Oh, I may not have turned for a few rounds. It seems it's all right. It's not such a biggie. Oh no, it is. I haven't been turning. So I turned on that round. That one I wasn't supposed to. This one I should have turned on, but I didn't. All right, I'm going to pull it back because if I don't, that will make me do my head in. So if I just do this now, and I just need the grey to come around. I should have changed direction and totally forgot on the grey. Lucky I found it now. There we go. And then undo the grey round as well. Okay. Because I just needed to go in I needed to flip it. And I forgot. Now, I know some people don't need to flip their grannies and they get that perfectly square granny anyway. I am not one of those people. Um, if I don't flip mine, like, yeah, if I'm just doing small squares, I don't need to worry about it. But if I'm doing anything with a bigger square and I don't flip it, I end up in worlds of hurt, honestly. Okay, so we want to join this guy on because we bring the yarn through and then flip it. And then that's gotta watch what I'm doing here because I need to carry this yarn properly. Okay. So we're working with the grey. That's the grey's tail. These guys need to get carried. And because we're working on the back, we carry through the front. And then push it out of the way. Okay. And then do our stitches back up because that will be fine. Um, and then weave in our grey tail. And I'm just using that method that we learnt for the Jethro to weave in our ends as we go. Carry it across. which is the same logic that I use, the same logic that I'm using for carrying in the corners. Oops, what did I do there? I forgot to flip it. Oh, have I lost Facecam? Ah, that's annoying. Maybe its little battery has just died. I'm just going to flip it off and on and see if we can get anything back. There we go. I don't know why it went or if it'll even stay. We'll soon find out. We'll soon find out. That is a blast from the past, isn't it? I've still got my Facecam coffee cup. So, yeah. So now I'm just going through and adding that grey back in that I did frog back out because I forgot to flip. So I was wondering why the little blue thing was on the front so much. I'm like, wait a second. Wait 1 minute. Tell you what, this is like the super old Bendigo, like when the Luxury first came out, and it is so soft. It's so different than Luxury now. Luxury now is still nice, like don't get me wrong, but this was back when it was just like the cream of the crop. Like, oh my gosh, have you tried Luxury kind of situation? And I bought an absolute boatload of it, and I'm glad I did because however many years on, 10 years on, whatever it is, I'm like, oh yeah, I might just use that in my stash. Alrighty. We are firing along again. Hopefully we don't make any mistakes this time. I have to go back and fix them. Because sometimes it just happens and you just have to, fix it. Yeah, I definitely want a jacket rather than a coat. That's for sure. Yeah. I'm not a big heavy coat person. But after this live stream today, I'm going to have some lunch. I'm going to get some stuff sorted for retreat. And then I have got some work I've got to get done, and then I will go to IKEA and then come home and try and get a good night's sleep because I'll be so excited about tomorrow. Alrighty, we are coming around to our first corner. Oh, you would have thought that because I was redoing that corner, it would have been smart to try and fix up that loose stitch. But no is the answer. Let's jump in here. Oops, if I got both. Just look here. 1, 2, and 3. And then we join with we're using the new color now. And then flippages. Bring that here. Bring those over that one. Chain 1. Oops. And then back over again for the chain 2. And then back over for the stitch. Okay. Now that looks a bit bulky and janky, but if you just give it a little. Oh, did I just work? I did. I just worked over that like an idiot. Let's not work over it after all our work to get it to the right height. We just worked over it like a numpty. We do not want to work over it. want it to sit at that higher spot. Okay. We can work over this tail though. And we're getting there. Alrighty. That's the last of that tail I'm going to work over. I'll weave that back in the other way later. We just keep going. But this is where we're at. This is the state of the nation. So, yes, you can absolutely see the occasional little pop of colour in the corner. But it's nothing crazy, nothing I'm worried about. I'm like, I have to like, oh yeah, look, there's some orange there. Like, let me find a pointy poet car. The colours that should not be there because we've got the grey. Is this little section here, that bit there, and maybe this bit here, but I think I actually think I crochet over that anyway. So I think it's such a total non-event that I don't have to worry about it. And it's a scrappy granny coat. Not coat. What are we saying? Jacket. So, yeah. What do you think? Do you think this is going to work? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to get around to the end of this row and we'll end this one off because I am not going to carry this. Not for 5 rounds. I'm glad I didn't cut it off before I had a chance to realize I'd foobarred and had to go back and fix it up. I'm spending the afternoon at the hospital. Stuart has his thing and I can't crochet. Do you know, Leanne, you could possibly just wander over to the medical clinic drive over to the medical clinic across the road from Logan Hospital and just do the walk in there and get them to look at your hand while you wait for Stuart. I mean, it's a total option. It's just right there at Meadowbrook. So then you can find out. You could hit the chemist, get antibiotics if that's what's needed, or have whatever them do that. It's your call. Just saying, it's an option. But audiobooks are also good. But yeah, directly across the road from Logan Hospital, they now have like a medical center. And it's for all the stuff that's like not emergency room, but still needs, you still need a doctor's help. So, you've got options there. Alrighty, we're coming around. Alrighty, we are so close to the corner. Alrighty. And into the corner we go. And yeah, we work over those bits that I was worried about. I just wanted to double check it, like actually work over them and see if they were what I was doing. And then chain 2. And then we yarn in. And then we go to the blue is the next colour. And then we turn our work. The blue is the next one we're working on. So I'm just going to wiggle that around. And then choppy that dude, because we don't want him. There's plenty enough tail there to weave in. And then we carry the others. We don't carry that one because we're going to weave it in. So you can go at the front, down the bottom. So let's have a look here. So they go over that so I can chain. And then back over that so I can chain. And then I can work my stitches. Oh no, accidentally went to work over them again. See, that's a habit, isn't it? Like, I don't want to work over them. We need them to carry up. Oh man, that's going to be the downside. They take walk-ins. Yes, they do. Yeah. Oh no. Yes, they do. It's like an emergency room, but that's not for like it's just you can go in. At least I think you can. That's where Abby went with her knee. She didn't want to go to she didn't want to go to the emergency department, so that's where she went instead. Okay. So let's have a little squiz here. Double checking. So this is the back side. So I don't mind, again, don't mind if I can see a little tiny bit there. This is the front. So it's just sitting there for now, but once I come back and work over it, that'll move. So yeah, I'm chuffed. That's the plan. That's what we're doing. Get that grey on the back side so we can just have a look at this side all pretty without any little ends. I think we're going to win. I think this is winning. And I think, what is the brand of your hook? This is a Clover Amour 6mm. It's a big chunky hook. It's big chunky hook, big chunky yarn. That's why it's fast. And it's good to see you, Gail. Welcome to the chat. So yeah, so I think carrying all of these colors is going to work. I think cutting that one off is going to be fine. It's every 5th row I use that one. So it's, you know, I don't know what I'll do down the track, but like it's a little tiny ball of yarn. It's cool. So it's just to make this guy go a bit further. But yeah, I'm super happy with how that looks. It's not too tight. It's got a bit of stretch in it, like, because you got to remember this is a garment as well. You need it to stretch the same way as everything else. So you don't want this, you know, so everything else could pull and then this is just like rock solid. So you need to make sure that there's give in it as well. So yeah, I think I'm pretty content with how this is going. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, thanks, Gail. Appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just gonna. We're running a little bit over today, so we start the stream about 2 hours ago, and we go for about 2 hours this time every week. So you're welcome to come back next time. We do have a Discord, so if you want to jump in and chat in the meantime, you can. If one of the mods can throw up a Discord link, that would be great. But yeah, so what we're using is some Peyton Sierra in Nevada colorway, Peyton Sierra in Sagebrush colorway, and then also some Bendigo Woolen Mills DK or 8-ply, just in some solid colors. So in, what did we say this one was? That one's licorice sorbet. This one's mint sorbet, I think. Yeah, peppermint sorbet. So, but you could just use, like, I wanted to make this top. I'm just going to go back to the screen share here, just briefly. I want to make this coat, but I didn't want to make it in one solid color, and I didn't want to go yarn shopping. I've got all this in my stash, leftovers from blankets, leftovers from other projects. And I just didn't want to buy more yarn. And I didn't have enough of this to do what I needed to do, which is why I'm bringing in a bit of the sagebrush as well. So just to make this go a bit further. I'm also not making the knee length coat. I'm going to try and make it more hip length if I'm allowed. I've got to talk to the designer and double check I can do that. Um, but this is my homework. I've got to get the first initial square done. So that's what I'm working on. So it's been awesome having you all here. Um, if you are local, we will be meeting at the Logan Hyperdome in just south of Brisbane in Australia tonight from 6 p.m. We meet there on the first Thursday of every month, and you're more than welcome to join along. But otherwise, we'll catch you here this time next week. Well, 2 hours ago next week, and just get some yarn in your life, have some colour, and I'll see you all next time. Bye now.